So welcome everybody to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. Today we have a special guest, Miss Diamond Spratling. Welcome to the show, Diamond.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and I'm super excited to talk to you today because you founded a company called Girl Plus Environment. Could you tell us what that is and why you started it?
Yes, of course. So Girl Plus Environment, GPE for short, is a small 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are actually based in Atlanta, but we serve Black and Brown communities across the entire country. And so we were put together so that we can help to advance environmental justice issues, specifically in Black and Brown communities. We noticed that there was a huge trend of just us not knowing what in the world is going on as it relates to environmental issues, that we are actually bearing the greatest burden very often. And so I thought that it was very critical to create an organization that could really talk to or speak to these issues of environmental justice, but honestly in a very conversational and lay terms, because let's be honest, environmental justice is not the most sexiest topic to talk about. So how do you get people involved and engaged in the topic? And so that's really where Girl Plus Environment came from. I mean, I've been in the environmental space for a long time, since I was in undergrad. And I remember just talking to my friends and my family about environmental issues. They're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But, we got other things to worry about. And so I was like, okay, why are you guys not caring about these issues like I do? And so I was like, I needed to do something different, something innovative, but cool in a way so that we could essentially communicate these issues that we are experiencing and get people excited and engaged in it as well. So that's really how Girl Plus Environment came about.
And just to let people know, because the general public may not understand what environmental justice is, and it's primarily, it has a long history. Yeah. So back in the day, it was redlining for residential development of where Black and Brown people could not live. And those were often near where they were allowed to live, were around highways, industrial plants, places that were highly contaminated. And that leads to a lifelong exposure, lung exposure, asthma, sickness. That's why people with COVID, it hit the African-American community hard because of those historical issues. So what we're trying to do is just let people know what environmental justice is, what social justice is, and fix the wrongs of the past. And what I loved about Girl, and I reached out to you, I hunted you down. What I loved is you provide conversation, but you provide tools and education and information to people so they can learn. And, you're also extremely young. You only graduated a couple of years ago, I believe.
Yep. I'm 25.
Yeah, you are at the forefront leading the charge for these people, which is extremely important. And one thing to add, so environmental justice, social justice is usually an afterthought. People think, oh, environmental, we're going to talk about electric vehicles. We're going to talk about ESG. We're going to talk about renewable energy. We need to bring this to the forefront. And what can we do to be better at that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've seen that trend. I mean, I can count how many times I've seen that where it's like, oh, right, equity, all right, environmental justice. We forgot that. We dropped the ball. Exactly, which is so horrible. And so I think there's a few things that you can do. What I always tell people, because I work a lot with just cities and other organizations and companies, and we tell them that you have to bring in the experts. You have to. If you don't really know, you're not as skilled in, building equitable processes or environmental justice and even community engagement and stakeholder analysis. That's okay, but you need to bring in someone who is, because we have to be involved in that process, really from the early stages of even just thinking about creating a project or implementing a program, even in that brainstorming process. It has to be thought about from that very beginning, but also during the middle, the engagement process, even at the end when you're monitoring and evaluating that program and determining well, did we hit all the targets? Did we do good? You need to have those people at the forefront of those programs that you're putting together, because otherwise you don't know, because you're not skilled in that area. And it's okay that you're not skilled in it, because you got to bring in, you got to bring in the people who are, essentially. So I think that is definitely a very critical piece there, but also just engaging with the community and being very sensitive to the way that you do it and very intentional too, because that is, it's hard. It's not easy. Community members are like, we have all these issues going on, but, we need you to still, that's not a reason for you to not engage with us at all. So I think that that is a very critical piece as just as much as bringing in like the subject matter experts, essentially.
And also just, getting people comfortable.
Yep.
Because for many years, people were just uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about it. This isn't that comfortable to me. We need to make it more comfortable. We need to know this isn't, it doesn't need to be a hard conversation. Yep. I remember talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I, she's Black. And I said, I don't know, should I call you African-American or Black? I just don't know. And she said, you could ask me.
Yeah.
And I said, that's so simple. And she said, just call me Black. I'm fine with that. I'm like, okay. Yep. And sometimes it's just ask.
Yep. Just ask.
Yeah. I mean, it's a conversation to have. It's a discussion to have. We're all on the same side, and we're all trying to do better. And, one of the things with bringing in experts, you hit the nail on the head, because when DEI kind of first became popular a couple of years ago, a lot of people without the proper qualifications were shoved into that role, or it was an added responsibility to their existing job. And that doesn't work too well. You need the expert. You need someone who can spearhead it. And early planning is very important, and it's also cost effective. Going back and fixing something after it's implemented is expensive. Get in there at the beginning. I love that you pointed that out. Planning stages, brainstorming, bring it up front. And you are doing all of this, so people, please find Diamond, hunt her down.
Thank you.
No, it's a great group. What you're doing is wonderful. I wish I were that smart at 25. At 25, trust me, I was more interested in going to disco than actually. But that was a horrible answer, so it's just bad on bad. But where do you plan on Girl Plus environment to grow into? What would you like?
Absolutely. And I feel like my eyes light up every time I talk about the growth, especially right now, because we are in this is so timely. We're in a growing space right now. I mean, we just changed our name, changed our branding, everything. We're trying to operate. We're trying to operate as a legit 501c3 organization. I mean, we got the credentials almost a year ago, but I think we thought grants are going to fall into our lap. That's not exactly what happens, especially when you're put up against all these huge, organizations that's been around for 10 years. And so now we are actually expanding our board so that we can have people who have a lot of experience in board leadership and management and can really oversee the operational side of things. But also we put together a GPE work group of just younger people like me who are just I'm not as skilled in the operational side of things, but I'm passionate about EJ, so I want to be involved. And so doing that, but also just making sure that we can better serve our community. So different programs that we've been putting together and applying for grants has been super critical. We actually just got our first grant of 2022 a couple weeks ago. I know, super exciting. Yes, thank you so much. So I think that that'll be a very critical piece to help us grow and help us get more known out there, but also really do the on the ground work that we want to do, especially with supporting those Black and Brown communities that are suffering disproportionately from environmental burdens.
Yeah, and congratulations on the grant, so that you just kind of let that one slip by. So I want to focus on that. You got your grant for 2022. That's huge, because grant writing is hard. Getting the grant is hard. I've been down that road. And you guys are going to keep growing. And I commend you for even doing this and growing and adding to your board. And are you hiring do you want to bring more people on your board that we can let people know to apply?
Yes.
Apply to Diamond's board, grow with her. I hope that you become international, because this is a worldwide effect. And so how can people find you, and how can they join in?
Yes, absolutely. So we have our official website. You can just go on to girlplusenvironment.org. It's a really great website put together myself. And so you can find tons of information for how to get involved, learn about all the amazing work that we do. But also, if you just want to stay up to date on all the things that we're doing, if you just go into girlplusenvironment.org, then you'll be able to see that there is a section where you can subscribe to our emails and join our newsletter. But even just become a GPE community member, that is absolutely free. We want anyone and everyone to be able to have access to the information that we have. So you can definitely become a community member. But if you want to just stay up to update on our social media, you can feel free to go on to @GirlPlusEnvironment on Instagram, on LinkedIn, but also on our Facebook page too. So those are tons of ways you can stay up to date with us. But if you want to contact me directly or the organization, you can just email us at hello@girlplusenvironment.org.
That's a great way to do just hello at Girl Plus Environment.
Yes,
That's
yes,
so
super easy and simple.
Well, you are a girl on the move, and I can kind of foresee amazing things happening. I mean, what you're doing is phenomenal. I mean, at such a young age. Oh, God.
Thank you so much.
I'm just thinking, I just can't help but think of what I was at 25. It was
Oh
not
my
this
gosh, stop. You are doing amazing things, trust me. And I mean, it's the people before me who really help to support and make sure that I am in a place to be able to help others. So I'm always super grateful for everyone who has come before me and everyone who continues to support the organization too.
Oh, thank you. And you know, we're not going to win this fight unless we're all work together. I hate it when people say, no, this is my project. And this is my project.
No.
Like, same direction, guys. We're all going to the same place.
Same place. Same goal here.
Yeah, same end result, same goal. So thank you, Ms. Diamond. This was a wonderful conversation, guys. Check out Girl Plus Environment all over LinkedIn, Facebook. I think you're on Twitter too, right?
Yes, we're on Twitter as well.
Yeah, all the platforms, you can find her. And reach out, join her group, join her cause, make it huge. Let's do this. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you.